Hey, it's Justin Morrison here, and today I'm reviewing the Sony a7 III on behalf of BestBuy.ca. The Sony a7 III is a full-frame mirrorless camera with a 24 megapixel sensor. It's capable of shooting up to 10 frames per second in continuous mode. It has a maximum ISO of 51,600, I believe, which is really impressive. And this is one of the great strengths of the a7 III, is its low light performance. This thing is a low light master. You can take photos with this camera in situations that would pretty much beggar belief. It really can blow you away with what it can do with very little light. Now, one of the other great features of the a7 III is the fact that it has in-body stabilization. So the sensor in the camera can move to compensate for the movements of your hands. This means that when you're shooting at low shutter speeds, you won't suffer the kind of camera shake that you would normally expect to see. But it also means that when you're shooting video, you can get really smooth shots shooting handheld. This unit came with this kit lens, which is the FE f3.5 to 5.6 28 to 70mm image stabilized lens. Now, normally I'm not too forgiving about kit lenses. They're generally not very good quality. But in this instance, I'm actually very happy with this lens. It's pretty decent. It can get you a clean, sharp image every time. Some of the other great features of the a7 III, it has dual card slots right here, which means you can put 2 SD cards in there, which essentially doubles your memory capacity. It also means that you have a spare card if you need it. If, for example, you take out your primary card and you've downloaded your images and you've accidentally left it in your card reader, you still have a card in the camera. The a7 III has a touchscreen here on the back. It's not the best touchscreen I've ever used. I think Sony has kind of underemployed it. You can't, for example, scroll through the menu options using the touchscreen, and I think that's a real missed opportunity. Speaking of menus, unfortunately the a7 III does suffer from the Sony menu dysfunction. Sony menus are not fun to use. They're not well laid out. It is not that easy to find what you're looking for, but you kind of have to accept that for all of the great features that you do get with the a7 III. I actually recently decided to switch over to Sony because of this camera, because it has such great video capabilities, 4K shooting, full HD at up to 120 frames per second, log recording, which is something that videographers love. It gives you a real fine-grained control over your image quality, over your colors, for example, and over your dynamic range. Unfortunately, though, this screen only points directly upwards or almost downwards. It does not swivel all the way out to forward-facing. Vloggers love to have forward-facing screens so that they can check their composition and their focus right there on the camera. Unfortunately, this does not have that. It does have the ability to connect to your smartphone, however, which means you could check your smartphone to see that your composition and focus are correct. Unfortunately, you can't change your focus via the smartphone app, which is, again, a bit of a missed opportunity. One of the areas where Sony has really attempted to up their game in moving from the a7 II to the a7 III is in terms of autofocus. The a7 III has 693 phase detection focus points and 495 contrast detection focus points. Now, that is amazing, trust me. That is a lot of focusing power. One of the other great features it has is 4D focus. Essentially, the camera tries to predict where the moving object in your shot is going, and it tries to adjust the focus accordingly. Another great focusing feature that the a7 III has is face detection and eye detection. So as a portrait photographer, this is really, really important to me. I need my subject's eyes to be sharp and in focus every time. With the A7 III, I don't have to worry about that because I can put it in eye detection mode and it will keep focus on my subject's eye every time. The A7 III is an autofocus master. The A7 III is highly customizable. There's a number of buttons, 11 in total, that you can reprogram to set them up exactly the way you want them. All in all, I have to say I am very impressed with the A7 III. It's not the most charming camera in terms of design. It's not the most intuitive to use, but it's got incredible features. And this is a camera that videographers and photographers can use to make professional quality images and video. On behalf of the Best Buy blog, this is Justin Morrison. Catch you next time.